help us. I agree with that. Now you got to watch out for the certain people that are writing bad comments, and you got to check out Marco Gutierrez's new page on Facebook, and you can check him out on YouTube and Twitter at Marco Gutierrez. So yeah, I mean, I believe that you'll do, but I don't believe that a lot of times, even myself, we don't know what we're doing when they're there. Jesus just says, show up, you know.
Well, definitely, the fear factor is there, but we're all fear is a great instinct, and fear help us. But then also, what does it say? Like the Bible says, 660 times, do not fear. The thing is, I don't fear for so much for me, but I fear for my the consensus of all of us, because what's going on right now, and I told this guy that I talked to, he has 40 years of experience in broadcast, and yesterday he said, Marco, but why Trump? Why have you betrayed us like this? And he said, all political analysis and all this data shows that Donald Trump is not the right person. And very nicely, in my own poor words, in my own capacity, I told him, look, you guys are the experts. You have all this data, you have all this, but you have been wrong since the beginning. You told us that Donald Trump would not even make the first round in the primary because he's got the voice of the people. It's manifested. A loving God has manifested on the voice of the people. And that's what I hear. Yes, you guys have all these statistics, and yes, I'm wrong, and yes, I don't have the right dialogue. Maybe Donald Trump doesn't have the right dialogue either. But we are being authentic. And if I wasn't being authentic, I wouldn't be invited to all these radio stations across the country and now in Mexico without any preparation. Because what did I tell you? In another show, I told you that God doesn't choose the prepared ones. Rather, He prepares the chosen ones.
He is another power of Jesus Christ. Exactly what you're saying, Marco. Exactly. The people have spoken, and the media are deaf.
Can you say that again?
I said the people are spoken, and the media are deaf.
No, but the verses you said about Jesus.
The verse: the wisdom of the wise men shall be confounded, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. It's Isaiah, and I think it's Isaiah 45. Because that's when he anoints King Cyrus, thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him, and I will open the two-leaved gates before him, and the gates shall not be shut. This is Mr. Trump. He has chosen Mr. Trump, and the people are after Mr. Trump to subdue nations before him. Why? Because everybody wants to follow the goodness of America, and that's why they're looking at Marco. You know what I mean? Hey, Marco, if a person proclaims the full gospel of Jesus Christ, people are attracted to it because it's the truth. If they say something about abortion, if they say something about marriage, if they say the truth about it, people are attracted to it. They may badmouth you and say that they're attracted to it. That's why you're speaking the truth and people are attracted to it. If you water down Christianity, nobody's attracted to it. You can't water down Jesus' message, and you can't water down your message, the message of truth. And that's the reason why people are attracted. Another thing in the Bible is this: when Jesus speaks, there is weeping and there's gnashing of teeth. Why is there weeping and why is there gnashing of teeth? In another place, it says when Jesus speaks, the truth cuts these people to their heart. Okay, so they're cut to the heart, weeping, gnashing of teeth, but that's a sign of repentance. They're coming around. St. Augustine said this: wicked men live either to repent or to try the righteous.
Well, the thing is that we all have an opportunity in life to make profound change, and the fear of maybe I am not the right person, maybe there's somebody more qualified than me. Maybe I have, in your case, with your listeners, maybe I have sinned. Maybe I have done bad things that I feel ashamed of, and I don't feel worthy to be of service to the people. But somebody told me once that it is because of those things that you are called to help the others. It is because of what you have been through. It is because of the experience. And let me tell you one thing that also in the Spanish radio, unfortunately most of my Hispanic critics are against me. When you have somebody like me or like you, Basil, or like a lot of the listeners, we have already confessed our shortcomings to God and to another human being, the true nature of what we did wrong. We're not embarrassed to put ourselves out there for the cause. And a lot of people are looking into my past, like, oh, Marco filed bankruptcies. Oh, Marco sold a stolen bike to an old lady. And I actually had a very brief conversation with Pastor Mark, what's his name? Mark something. Where he said that they're going against his character too. So me and him, hopefully we can do a video together, because did you watch that Bill Maher with the real time? He put something that's called the basket of inexplicables. And me and Pastor Mark were on that list. And he really made so much fun of us. I don't know if you did watch that segment.
You know what? I don't have that. I don't have HBO, but what a honor. What an honor. Jesus Christ is blessing you left and right. And this guy, Pastor Mark, Jesus Christ is blessing you guys. A little bit of prayer in the morning, a little bit of prayer at night, and keep going. This is fantastic. Maher is probably the most anti-American media person you have out here. He's vulgar, crass, and does not know what he's talking about. He talks himself like he's a head Catholic. That's completely not true. And by the way, Bill Maher's dad was vice president of CBS. That's the only reason he's in show business. They tried to make this guy a comedian, an actor, everything. It took him 40, 50 years, and then they finally gave him an HBO show. So the guy is an abject failure, but he is pumped up by the media like Jon Stewart was. Marco, this is fantastic. Maybe he'll have you on the show, and you'll be able to talk to these people. Look, this is great. And I like what you said, because remember, Jesus doesn't choose a bunch of rabbis to proclaim his message. He chooses people who are not in the field. He chooses fishermen. Awesome. Maybe people might have called them dumb fishermen. People might have called them other things. In the Acts of the Apostles, after the Holy Spirit is given and they have power and they have courage to go out and speak, the rabbis are saying to them, how do these guys know anything? They never studied the Torah. How did these fishermen know all these books from Scripture? How did he know all this? But that's what's going on. How come Mark don't know the truth? And he's giving it. Hey, Marco, you're just popular with all these people. The people who are saying negative things to you, it's almost like a test. It's almost like a test. Like when I go out there, I speak a lot for Jesus, and people want to hear, how are you going to react if I say something nasty about Jesus? And when they see that I don't react hard, you know what I mean? Hey, listen, Jesus can take care of himself. If you're in trouble, if you're talking that way, then it's okay. So when these people see you don't react hard to it, you say, look, brother, I'm giving you the gift. This is the gift of citizenship. This is the gift of self-determination. This is the gift of freedom you have in this country. We're not going backwards. Are you happy with the last years in this country, the economy? I know you're not. So listen, you might not like everything Mr. Trump says, but what do you have to lose?
I know, it's amazing. And it really comes down to that. And I think there's a Chinese proverb out there that very old that says that be careful when you fight somebody that doesn't have anything to lose anymore. And I think that half of my community, the Hispanic community, and in America in general, they have lost so much. I mean, I saw households disintegrate financially. You had farms. There was a documentary where this man had his farm for he inherited that farm this some white guy, and he was cleaning the farm so that he could give it back to the bank because he had been just foreclosed. He lost like 600 acres. And I was just so angry because I am a former mortgage broker. Well, I still do a lot of consulting, so I know how evil the banks are. And I know that that man could have saved his farm. He could have saved his farm if the laws that were enacted by the Obama administration would have not been so strict, and if somebody would have gone and helped that guy. And it's very sad because the way they did with this financial recovery, it is not a financial recovery. It is just somehow like a band-aid that they put so that we wouldn't complain no more, or we wouldn't look for a job. But everybody knows that there is no confidence, there is no inspiration for our kids, our millennials. There is, my son's 23, there is nothing that they look forward to. We need to shake them and say, listen, your dreams, your golden dreams can be true, but you need to get up. You need to get off the chair and start going for them.
On Facebook the other day. He said, listen, I'm voting for Mr. Trump, but I cannot say anything. I'm surrounded by Hillary supporters. I will vote for Mr. Trump, but being surrounded by Hillary supporters every day, I just cannot say anything. It's my livelihood. I said, I completely understand. I think you're really brave that you're even messaging me behind the scenes. And I just think it's typical because I've also heard from other
Thank
people.
you, Stacy.
Democrats. Miriam has heard from Latinos who can't speak in their own community. I had JoJo, who was on the program. She has relatives in the Arab American community in Dearborn, Michigan. And many of the relatives are voting for Mr. Trump, but they cannot come out and say that in public. You know, this has happened before. The reason Nicodemus went to see Jesus by night was because if Nicodemus went to see Jesus by day, they would have said a lot of things like they're saying about Marco. They would have said, hey, Nicodemus, what do you do here? Hey, Nicodemus, look at that, Nicodemus. So he goes to see Jesus by night. Now, Marco goes to see Jesus during the day. That's why he's getting all this flack. But anyway, what the point of it is this. We have a lot of people going to see Jesus by night. We have a lot of people voting for Mr. Trump by night. We have a lot of support in that area that the media is not going to tell you. The bias polls obscure a sure, likely Trump victory. The mainstream media will say anything they have to say. Continue to stick to your truth. You know, that's why in the Rosary, you do one Our Father and a decade of Hail Marys. Because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to continue to pray. Do not get distracted. Continue to pray. Continue to speak the truth. Because I tell you what, Marco, your truth is resonating with people. I believe that.
It is. And you know, the thing is, what I told a lot of people, because I have been interviewed so many times by so many people that I joke around that I tell people that I have even been interviewed by the devil a couple times. There was this, no, really, so there was this lady at the convention. I was really tired. It was like day number 3, I believe. And she got close to me. And she started talking to me. She put her phone right like on the side. And then she was drinking and smoking. And I thought she was sort of like, I was freestyle talking. Saying the real. And then right in the middle of the conversation, she said, you know I am recording you, right? And I said, no, I don't. They said, yeah, I told you right at the beginning. This is an interview. I'm like, he says, yeah, an interview in the paper tomorrow. I was like, wow, man, these people have no shame, and they're the ones that tell us that we're the shameful ones. You know, that they have no. It's my grandma used to tell me, and I love the old people. They always had sayings. She used to tell me when I was like 5 or 6. She says, Marco, the devil can never enter in your house unless you give him permission. And and I used to think a lot, like, oh shoot, if the devil comes, I'm not gonna let him in. You know, I was thinking, I'm gonna close the door and just not let him in. So sometimes I see the media because they're trying to get in. They're trying, but they ask you. What, this one didn't ask me. Then I told her, you know, you should have asked me, because I don't think. like Pastor Marx said, you know, this was off the record. I didn't agree to. She says, well, the guy said, well, I didn't agree to that. So they actually got Pastor Marx. They deceived him. They make a lot of the Donald Trump supporters and Latino for Trump that sort of like got angry with me because of my words and all that. They don't understand what it is to be in front of a camera. They don't understand what type of people these journalists, these media people are. They have no heart. These guys, they come and they smile and they're smiling at you, but with the other hand, they're just slicing you. And that's what they did to Pastor Marx. And I wish I would have been there, because I have a lot of experience in the legal aspects of most things because of real estate. I would have got that interviewer and just stirred him apart. Because, for one, evidence is not evidence unless you approve of it. And that would not be admissible in any court, whatever she did. But for some reason, they tried to say that, I guess he said that he had a master's degree, or that he said that he had a bachelor's degree on his website. He didn't even have to say, look, I don't know what website you're talking about. I don't even know who wrote that. But he was deceived, and he sort of said, well, I didn't agree to that. And if they would have asked me something like that, I'm like, you know, I have no idea what you're talking about. How can they prove that he wrote that? It's just, but they made it look like it was true. And I would love to sue Bill Maher, and I sent him a tweet. That I might sue him for $5 million, so he proves that I am what he said I am.
Do Bill Maher's show. You don't care. You'll go on the show and you'll behave yourself fantastically, and you'll do whatever you do. You'll go to Mexico and do that interview eventually if you want to, or they'll come here and interview you. There's no parameters on what you can't do. It's completely your choice. But you have to realize, just like Mr. Trump, you are in a position of power, not because you are powerful, but because the humility in you and the truth. Can't have humility without truth. Truth is humility. Humility is truth. So you have that. Jesus Christ is sending you out. And yeah, you have all these different parameters of people tugging at you and this, that, and the other thing. But you don't care. You'll do Bill Maher's show. You'll talk to Bill Maher. It's all a joke. If someone can insult you and give you the worst insult, and you can act like it doesn't really bother you so much, and of course the only way you can do this is with Jesus Christ, that you can let it go through you. Mother Teresa would point to her ear and say, don't let it come down to the heart. Let it go in one ear and out the other, and then continue on your speech that you're supposed to give with Jesus Christ, or whatever you're supposed to say with Jesus Christ while you're in front of these guys. I like the fact that Bill Maher's recognizing you. I like the fact that you can maybe be on his show and do other things. I think it's all good, you know. on your experience to Pastor Mark and whatever. And listen, I just have great enthusiasm. I have a great feeling with Jesus Christ about what you're doing, what the Latinos are doing, what Miriam Witcher's doing, what every single, because now it's up to the people. We forget the politicians, forget the media. It's not working for them. It's up to us, and we are out there continuing. And with a guy like Marco out there, you're inspiring others by doing what you're doing. So you know what? It works. We all work off each other. That's how America became great, and that's how America will be great once again.
Well, one thing that I can tell you for your listeners, Basil, and I don't know if I said this, it wasn't easy. I have come a long way. You took me in, you fed me, you gave me an education, you gave me a wife, you gave me 6 children, you gave me an opportunity to be one of you. And now, after so much work, you allow me to be one of you, and that feels freaking awesome. Now, a lot of people resist to that. They refuse to that, but I know that they're going on the same path. They're just going through the what do they call that? The growing pains. It's hard. And I told a reporter in Spanish yesterday, what I think that has offended most my communities in Spanish is the freaking wall. And he said, well, what do you think about that wall? I said, you know what? I think the United States can build a wall. They can build a pyramid. They can put alligators in... what do you call those fish that eat those piranhas in it? They can put, because it's their country. You know, but I think it's psychological, Basil. I think when you say you're gonna build a wall, you're telling me, Marco, you're on this side now, and all of a sudden I need to define myself and my allegiance and my dreams. I'm going back to Mexico with a big truck and a bunch of money one day and just make it big over there. They sort of like disappear, evaporate, and that hurts me internally. And I think that's where the biggest problem is with Hispanics. And eventually, they don't like us anymore over there. If I go to Mexico, they don't consider me Mexican anymore. And here I have a hard time integrating, but it's an everyday work. It's I think first generation immigrants, we're going to go through that problem for eons to come, and we need to just deal with it.
Listen, you're very astute when it comes to what is really in the conscience of the Latino community, because you're right. You're coming from that point. You're coming from both sides of it. It's really good what you say. I like the fact that you say about a wall, that's something to people. I agree with that. It's border security. The Mexicans said the other day that they want to build a wall. Now, there was a report out there that the Mexicans are going to build a wall, so that's kind of funny. So I can understand when people feel that they're not included, right away they go back to their shell. And we want to say, and America has been wanting to include everybody. I really appreciate having you on the show today. And Marco, by the way, guys, Marco is an inclusive guy. He won't turn down an interview. If he can't do it, he can't do it. So that's all there is to it. But he will talk to anybody. But you got to deal from a point of respect. You got to respect him also, and he'll talk to anybody. He doesn't care what it is. So Bill Maher, we can't wait till we see Marco on your show. We would just love that, because Marco represents a part of this country that you don't have on your show, Maher. So, Mark. So, hey, give a little closing statement. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, Marco.
Just what I can say is that as pressure builds up in this next 30 days, we need to try to remain within topic and to not allow the media to take the best of us, and to go out there and make sure people are gonna vote. There is a hashtag MGA MAGA ×3 to at least get 3 people to register and to vote, because talking about it is good, but I have my 3 people that I have more people, but I make sure that I talk to them every day and say, make sure you're gonna vote. So that's what it comes down to. Thank you. Good day. So that's it, guys. What do you guys think? Gina, don't wish me bad. It's not good for you. Melissa, what's up? So I decided not to go to Mexico for that interview, which it would have been awesome. But I did an interview with with a guy in Chicago yesterday, and I'm going to be doing another one in San Francisco for the Sunday, for the debate, because I think Sunday it's going to be the day. I think Sunday will define. Sunday we close the deal, pretty much. And we can see that Donald Trump's first presidential test of picking his vice president, Governor Pence, he's solid as a rock. You know, Tim was jumping up and down. He was just trying to get Pence, but Pence did not move. He didn't take the bait. Donald Trump is just going to go and close the deal. Basically, that's what it is. And I can see that slowly we are getting ready to close this deal in 30 days. Gina. Gina, you love me. Gina says I'm El Chupacabras. You know what, Gina? I have actually been called that before. A while back, there was a bunch of people that were suing me, and I actually put it on my reply, because people just call you names. Gina, you don't know me. If you knew me, you would probably be like best friends. Because I believe, Gina, I believe that you want the best for our community. I do believe you in that. And I want the best for our community too. And I hope whoever's right of you and me, Gina, wins. That's how I put it. But make sure you go out there and you get people to vote. Our communities need to show that we're not nobody has monopoly on Hispanics, that we think for ourselves. Okay? But I think Donald Trump's gonna win. And I think Donald Trump is the best man for this country. Okay? I'm gonna do my part, Gina. You go do yours. And you know what? I have helped you more, Gina, than you think, because they were telling me that in Texas, like all the taco trucks got together to register people. Can you imagine? All the taco trucks in the state of Texas got together to register people to vote. But I told them, make no mistake, I want 40% of those votes for Donald Trump. Okay? You can have the rest, but we need 40%. And at least taco trucks and tacos are like a political icon now for generations to come. Gina, you're going to see what I'm going to do with taco trucks. I'm going to reform taco trucks in the best way you can imagine. I'm going to create a line of taco trucks with balloons and colors and beautiful stuff. But guys, I love you. Even the trolls. Have a great day. Let's go out there and make the best win. But Donald Trump, it's going to win. Okay, guys? I'm gonna check, make sure I am registered. Have an awesome day.